Now some more people will come to the
I think the corporate communication has done very well. And despite all the issues, आप लोग ने you made sure that the company is always projected in good light, and whenever any issues have come, we have immediately resolved.
Guidance and support are guiding actually.
Oh.
These two will be declaring me.
हम लोग को क्या होगा?
They are taking inputs from our kids and they are retweeting. R&R is doing a great job.
Now in this commission of tier 3, now
अभी तो
National-wide. Welcome to Srinivas.
we can do the week.
Madam, wait a second.
So ये है ना देखिए मल्टी स्किलिंग.
he's done it now. Actually, we'll continue for some time and we'll take their help. In video बनाना तो they are master in that.
I think after we had the Bhatt and after things have started changing. And I can feel that.
Next thing, sir, please.
Let us give a big round of applause for our financial crack financial team.
Sir, everybody, hello.
And I think 2024 will be a glorious year. We will rewrite RINL's history. First quarter, March, we will make cash profit. I'm telling you.
Sir,
Okay, sir, thank you very much.
sir.
Yeah, let's say we, everybody. हम लोग इसी में भी बहुत बढ़िया काम कर ही रहे हैं.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, namaste.
आइए. This is department. I think one department, that has really contributed to get our oxygen plant. It's the Lord. I hope he has changed his opinion now.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes, it is very important that we sort out issues rather than prolong issues. So let us look at reducing the number of, arbitrations and.
Yes, sir. We are trying on that, sir. We are advising the department not to wait for
Agreement was done by, I think it's a landmark agreement.
Sir, why does it? Why questions? Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Contract. आप लोग खबर इम्पोर्टेंट हो रहे हैं मार्केटिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स अच्छा
Kishore.
so you alone manage everything
Is DJ, sir.
DJ
Yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, madam. Happy New Year.
Srinivas.
Srinivas.
Sir, after a glorious innings, sir. Photographer Srinivas garu, Madam Saraswati garu, and another photographer Ramla garu will be retiring this year, sir.
और इसी साल
नहीं सर मई में
Both of me.
चार
तो पूरा डिपार्टमेंट है
June में है, sir.
तो सब चला जाएगा ना
Sir, the permission they have.
तो आपको चला जाएगा बाकी रिटायरमेंट जब आपकी हेल्प करते रहेगा समझ गए आप लोग ठीक है ना नहीं तो इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस ना ठीक है
थैंक यू सर
Those at the back, Happy New Year.
And welcome you all to the New Year address by our CMD sir. We shall begin this meeting with a brief presentation on our performance highlights, major initiatives undertaken during the year 2023-24 and key focus areas for the new year. Now I invite my colleague Mrs. Neha Priya ma'am for taking us through the presentation.
Respected CMD, Directors, Commandant CISF, Chief General Managers, Heads of Departments, Representatives of C, Unions, OBC Association, SCST Association, VIPs, and all my senior colleagues. Wish you all a very happy and promising New Year 2024. At the outset, let me congratulate the RINL collective for lighting up of BF3 after 701 days. BF3 has been christened as Annapurna, the perennial giver. This is truly an astounding achievement. A new year always brings with it new possibilities and the urge to make everything better. But let's not forget to give the year gone by its due by learning from it and carrying forward with us the lessons learned. The year 2023 can be summarized as the year that brought both fright and optimism, as the world witnessed adversities on one hand and breakthrough developments on the other hand. During the year, meeting conflict in Manipur kept the state on board. The Israel-Hamas war has created one of the worst humanitarian crises. The tragic Odisha accident sent shockwaves throughout the nation and served as a wake-up call, reiterating that safety is to be given the topmost priority. However, amidst the darkness, stories of resilience and solidarity also emerged. Natural disasters also affected millions of people worldwide in 2023. Cyclone Freddy in Africa, ice storms in Texas, floods in Sudan and Brazil, mega drought and wildfire in Chile, and flash floods in Himachal Pradesh and Sikkim. Everyone witnessed Despair turned into optimism as 41 construction workers were rescued from a road tunnel collapse after being trapped for 17 days. A team of rat miners finally did what the machines and technology couldn't, and it was proved that when all else fails, humanity rises to the rescue. G20 Summit was hosted by India, which showcased India's remarkable commitment to fostering a sense of global togetherness. 2023 also brought a flurry of breakthroughs in space exploration. Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer was launched by the European Space Agency to search for life in the Jovian system. India launched Aditya-L1, its first solar observation mission. History was created by India as Chandrayaan-3 became the first space mission to land near the lunar South Pole. Indians scored phenomenally at the Asian Games, scooping up its best ever medal haul of 107, including 28 gold, 38 silver, and 41 bronze. This historic achievement is a testament to the dedication, hard work, and conviction of Indian athletes and their coaches. Global growth is expected to slow from 3.5% to 3%. Advanced economies are expected to slow from 2.6% to 1.5%. Emerging market and developing economies are projected to have a modest decline in growth from 4.1% to 4%. Looming challenges such as China's ongoing property slump, the Eurozone's economic stagnation, and the full impact of recent monetary tightening have contributed to the slowdown. However, as the year draws to a close, things are beginning to look up, driven by the normalization of consumption in China and a resurgence in growth in US. The Indian economy continued to show optimism against the backdrop of a challenging global environment, as it grew 7.6% in Q2, considerably higher than the estimates. India's Q2 growth is the highest in the world, and it was mainly led by manufacturing, which grew at 13.9%, and construction, which grew at 13.3%. The Indian economy is projected to grow at 7% rate in the fiscal. According to S&P, India is set to become the third largest economy by 2030, and also the fastest growing major economy in the next 3 years. Among major steel producers, India saw a maximum 12.1% growth in crude steel production against a meager 0.2% growth in world. WSA forecasts that 2023 world steel demand will grow by 1.8% and by 8.6% in India. Indian steel demand is expected to continue its high growth momentum and grow by 7.7% in 2024. During April to December 2023, we registered 10% growth in hot metal production, 10% growth in liquid steel production, and 13% in saleable steel production. 6 new sections and 13 new grades were developed during the year. We registered improvement in various techno-economic parameters, 9% in BF productivity, 13% in nut coke rate, 17% in labor productivity, and 2% in specific water consumption. Other highlights include crude steel production crossed 100 million ton landmark in June. Hot metal production from BF2 crossed 50 million ton landmark on 25th October. Converter lining life of 9,266 heats from converter D of SMS2 is the best since inception. 26% improvement in consumption of metallurgical waste, and 4% in LD slag in sinter making with usage of micropellets. 75% improvement in production of high-end value-added steel. RINL received Perform, Achieve and Trade Top Performer Award from Minister of Power and Renewable Energy for obtaining highest energy savings amongst all industry for PAT's second cycle. RINL has monetized around 30% of ES certs so far and generated a revenue of Rs 8.41 crores. RINL received CII National Energy Leader Award for a record 5th time in a row and Excellent Energy Efficient Award for 7th time in a row. Moving on to sales performance, we achieved sales turnover of Rs 16,766 crores, 21% growth in sales volume, 23% in domestic sales, 47% in sales of value-added steel, and more than 100% in direct dispatches. There was 22% growth in sales in Andhra region, 43% in Eastern region, 29% in Northern region, 10% in Southern region, and 31% in Western region sales. 14% growth was achieved in sales of rounds, 18% in TMT bars, 57% in wire rod coils, and 19% in sales of structurals. Projects highlights during the year include: for the forged wheel plant, preliminary acceptance certificate was issued on 31st March and dispatched 19,137 wheels in 2023 and total 22,271 wheels to various workshops of railways. ASP BOO Plant 1 and 2 were commissioned in June and PGT 1 completed in December. This was critical for assured availability of oxygen for 3 BF operations. Revamping of ASP 2 was completed in September. Cooling water system for 14 megawatt power plant in COB 5 commissioned in October and PG test completed in December. Modifications and revisions of roller table area of caster 4 for stabilizing the operation of caster was done without any financial implications to the company. Restoration of 3 horizontal filter presses in WWTP in SMS2 was done with in-house design and engineering. Coming to highlights, procurement of coking coal through global tender resulted in cost saving of Rs 207 crores with open LC payment terms of 90 days credit. New coals were procured from Russia against expression of interest, resulting in saving of Rs 3.62 crores. Long-term agreement was signed with NMDC for supply of iron products from Donimalai, Karnataka. This is a significant initiative taken by RINL towards securitization of raw materials. During the critical situation of disruption in KK line, iron ore was sourced from alternate sources, from NMDC stockyard through road to VSP, from SAIL, OMDC, and KIOCL. Rupees 9.8 crores cost reduction was achieved for refractory set of LD converter of SMS2 by enhancing vendor base, and Rs 0.9 crores by deproprietization of RHD gasser refractory set. Moving on to finance highlights. Sanction of corporate term loan of Rs 400 crores by Indian Overseas Bank for general capex including acquisition of ASP. Organized channel finance partners with different banks having sanctioned limits in place for Rs 1375 crores for financing the customers. 90 audits were conducted and made financial recoveries to the tune of Rs 20 crores. Special audit conducted for physical verification of metallurgical waste for the first time and verified stock worth Rs 115 crores. RINL bagged first position in National Award Manufacturing Public Mega for excellence in cost management consecutively for 2 years. Implemented centralized money receipt generation through virtual banking system, automation of inventory valuation of outstation branches, availed input tax credit on GST, received refund of Rs 24 crores on income tax, and achieved savings of Rs 17 crores on finance cost by availing lower interest rates. HR highlights during the year include Rs 3.6 crores saved through cost reduction and revenue maximization measures. Organized 28 awareness sessions for non-executives to sensitize them about the situation of the organization. Designed and conducted motivational program for forged wheel plant for improving production of wheels. Law Department helped in saving Rs 309 crores through arbitrations. RINL disbursed an amount of Rs 4.7 crores to the aided schools, benefiting more than 6,000 students, and spent about Rs 45 lakhs towards CER activities. To summarize, though there was significant increase in demand, realizations were low, and RINL came on the verge of being stuck in a vicious circle of intensifying cash constraints on one hand and was forced to operate in deteriorating production regime on the other hand, thus creating deepening survival crisis for RINL. Low working capital availability and non-availability of bank limits pushed us to a realm of uneven operations, and we had to depend solely on daily cash collections for managing day-to-day operations. Dwindling receipts of iron ore from NMDC in spite of clearing overdue outstanding payments of around Rs 2,000 crores. Supply chain disruptions due to delayed payments to suppliers and service providers, and continuous cash losses widening the funding gap threatening to aggravate the situation further. At this point, only way out for RINL to move towards the cash positive regime, the essential imperatives were starting of Blast Furnace 3, for which more than 2,000 crores of funding gap had to be bridged. This required RINL to tap into unconventional sources for working capital funding. At this juncture, RINL leadership took some ingenious initiatives to reach out to markets for working capital support. Rupees 800 crores was tied up with Tata International for opening of LCs on behalf of RINL. Rupees 800 crores were tied up with JSPL for conversion of steel. Assurance for iron ore was obtained from NMDC to improve supplies to meet higher requirement of iron ore. These initiatives were one of its kind in the industry and enabled RINL to restart BF3 and will help in achieving the rated capacities. Also, leaders at RINL made all-out efforts to secure support from Government of India to monetize non-core assets and were successfully able to convince Government of India for slump sale of forged wheel plant with proceeds going to RINL, disposal of RINL-owned 24 acres land, and leasing out of 1167 acres land to NMDC for setting up a pellet plant. This will help RINL to tide over the current vulnerabilities and perform confidently. The realization of all these initiatives will create around 5,000 crores of capital infusion into the company and help in attaining financial stability. The first step in this direction is to achieve the targets for Q4, hot metal production of 1.61 million ton, liquid steel production of 1.58 million ton, saleable steel production of 1.45 million ton, and achieve gross sales of 7,794 crores. The need of the hour is to focus on critical high-impact areas like stabilize and ramp up production from BF3 and progressively improve hot metal production to 19,000 tons per day by March 2024, maximize asset utilization and mitigate equipment-related risks on operations, strategize marketing efforts to ensure sales in highly profitable manner, and judicious fund management for better liquidity position. The year 2023 has thus brought us to a tipping point where little extra efforts by each one of us will cumulatively cause a big difference for the plant. Our collective synergy would help to create the magic of the past when we defied all our limitations and constraints. The challenge today is to manage our operations through a cycle of unlearning and relearning. We need to unlearn non-productive practices and guard against any complacency that has crept into the system over the years, and we also need to relearn to create synergy and to strengthen performance-oriented organization culture. Raising the bar on every performance aspect is thus the need of the hour. At this juncture, we need to accept that no challenge is insurmountable and instead look upon them as an invitation to make a difference, as an opportunity given to all of us to be better, to be stronger, to continuously learn, and to persist till we lead our company towards a remarkable future. In conclusion, I wish all of you and your families a healthy and happy New Year, and my sincere hope for a wonderful 2024. Thank you.
May we now request our CMD sir, directors and Commandant CISF to grace the dais and be seated, please. We are hopeful for the brighter days of growth and success of RINL, which would enable us to attain a remarkable future this year. With this note, let us now celebrate this very first day of 2024 with a cake cutting ceremony.
काफी अच्छा चॉकलेट केक
पीसेस कट कर
अब आप लीजिए ना। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है। नहीं चलिए
सागर खुद मिल के
चलिए। I think Happy New Year everyone. I think after the beer blowing, this cake is even more sweeter. My colleague directors, Shri D.K. Mohanty ji, Director Commercial, Shri Pandey ji, Director Personal and Director Finance, Shri Atar Mohammad Hanif ji, Commandant CISF, all my Chief General Managers, the heads of the department, senior executives, representatives of our Steel Executive Association, members of our beloved trade unions, representatives of SC, ST and OBC associations, representative from WIPs, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. Andarki Nutana Samavatsara Shubhakankshalu. I think we are all very happy to usher in the new year, and on behalf of RINL, I wish you and your family members a very happy, safe, prosperous and productive New Year 2024. As you are aware, RINL has entered into another year of its operations with renewed expectations and renewed objectives. And we have decided to take, possibly in the history of the steel industry, the biggest leap forward. You know, from a situation where survival was difficult, you know, we are leaping forward, and with the plans that we have in the next 3 months, to come to a cash surplus regime. So I think let us give a big round of applause to all of us for having the faith and in a determined manner, you know, moving forward. And what we have accomplished today is no mean task. Today, you know, we are having a situation where we are looking at stepping up our coke oven pushings to 330, 340 levels and maybe even beyond. I don't think few months back we could have ever imagined that we could have done it. Today we have already started the third blast furnace. We are looking at stepping up the production because we have seen, you know, what is actually the reason why RINL has been struggling. You know, there is only one reason. If you look at the period when RINL had made a profit, you know, except for 1 year, RINL has made a profit only during the period when its production was more than the installed capacity. You go through all our balance sheets, except for 21-22, where, you know, which was a very unusual year in terms of, you know, the prices that we were getting from the market. If you take out that year, the only years when RINL has made a profit is 2002 to 2013. And that was the time, if you see, we were producing about 3.6 million tons, and the capacity was 3 million tons. So one thing is very clear. If you don't produce to your rated capacity, you will never make a profit. You will struggle to survive. So that is why we started planning that how we could go to the rated capacity. What are the constraints? And how we can overcome those constraints. And this plan, this turnaround plan was discussed at various levels. And we got the support from the Ministry of Steel, and we are very grateful to the Honorable Steel Minister and the Ministry of Steel for having given their full support to the turnaround plan that we are having at the moment. So let us give the big thank you to the Ministry of Steel and the Honorable Steel Minister for having given so much of support. Now, what is essentially the plan? I think this is a time where I would like to share with you what was missing, what we have done, and what the way forward will be, and what gives us the confidence that we will definitely make a profit. If you really see, there were some bottlenecks which the company was having in achieving 7.5 million tons. Now, what were the bottlenecks? One was our coke making capacity. And I remember the year when I had joined, we were at 400, we were doing a lot of pushings. But the survival of the coke ovens was always a question. We were always getting the feedback that this particular chamber has gone down. It was always a struggle. And the number of working ovens, I think it had gone down to 270. So it was very, very, very important to strengthen that area, which is the coke oven area. And today, we can be very proud of the fact that we have got ovens which are working. Even though we are having more than 30-year-old batteries, and they say that the life of coke oven is 30 years. So one was we addressed that, and we also thought that, okay, if there is any gap, still there is a gap in achieving. So we will purchase this from the market and fill up the gap for the coke. The other was, of course, very important gap was there, which was oxygen. Our oxygen plant, which was supposed to come out, 1700 TPD oxygen plant, it was under litigation. We were actually struggling. We had no money. And only the first tranche had been paid, and there was another tranche of 300 crores. All had to be paid. And further, there is a phase 2 to be negotiated. Now, there also we started working. We started working with Air Leaky, and we convinced them that please come and commission the plant. We assure you that we will move forward on the arbitration. And today, we can be really proud that although there was so much of doubt and uncertainty that whether this oxygen plant will be commissioned or not, I think let's give big round of applause to our projects department. Today, 1700 TPD of oxygen is available. And that plant is almost fully available. In fact, we don't need that kind of oxygen right now, how much it is producing. So that was one of the big bottlenecks that we had, 7.5. The third bottleneck, of course, was sinter making capacity. Our sinter machines are old. Machine number 2, it had not been ramped up. So one is, of course, we are having a plan how to complete, the machine number 2 ramp up. But what is most important is that we thought, okay, let us fill this gap. Let us purchase pellets from Kudremukh. So the first consignment has arrived. So now the plan is that 7.5, the big bottlenecks that were there, they have been addressed. Most importantly, oxygen, because oxygen is not a commodity that you can purchase from the market. Now you come to the more bigger issue. Bigger issue is working capital. How do you organize working capital? Today, I'll just share with you that we have our working capital loan of a sanctioned limit of about 14,000 crores from the bank. Although because of certain reasons, the actual working capital available is much less. It's only about 7,000, 6,000 crores or even less than that. Now the bankers who had given you these 14,000 crores, they have something called drawing limits. Now because sufficient working capital is not sufficient, raw material is not available against that, they had put a limitation on how much working capital we could draw. And instead of, we wanted more working capital, I went and met the CMDs of all banks, CMD of State Bank of India, CMD of Union Bank of India, Chairman of Canara Bank, personally went and persuaded them, sir, please help us. They said your credit rating is poor. We went to the credit rating agencies. I made presentation to the credit rating agencies, told them that, okay, you have to look at forward situation because our credit rating is BB. The minimum credit rating required for any bank to give loan is BBB. And although we tried a lot, but seeing the huge debt that we are carrying, it was very difficult to, convince the banks for more money. So then, instead of giving up, we said, no, we are going to fight. We have faith in this plant. So we went for this innovative working capital model, wherein we said that, okay, please give us the working capital. Maybe with some of the finished products, we'll give you back. And we were able to convince, we took out the tender, and through the process of, selection, we were able to build up a working capital of 1,600 crores. And with that money today, we have enough working capital now to, start funding the third blast furnace. So it was a struggle. It was an issue that we were up against all odds. But finally, I think we can be very proud that we have managed innovative ways of getting the money because of the strength of RINL. Because people have confidence in the assets of RINL, people have confidence in the employees of RINL, and the RINL, the trust, the faith, and the ethics that we stand for. That comes to the forefront, and that is how, we have managed the situation up to now. So, I must at this point of time thank each and one of you, because this has been a team spirit. It has been a team spirit which has culminated in us coming into a position where we have started the third blast furnace. Of course, the blast furnace repairs and all those things was carried out. And I must compliment the entire works for this, that all the staves, copper staves which were damaged, they were repaired. All the systems were set right. And also we took a look at, because if you see, we have got 3 blast furnaces, 3,800 cubic meters. We have 6 converters of 150 metric ton each. This combination, how much it can give? The benchmark in the private sector is not 7.5. We could produce 9 million tons of steel. I'm really telling you. And this 7.5 is just the beginning. I'm going to tell you that with the same equipment, with the same blast furnace and same converters, we are going to go further into a higher regime. And once we do that, no one can stop us from coming back into profits. No one can stop us. So I think this is the beginning of a of a journey which is going to be very accelerating, where I'm sure that we are going to see a number of records getting broken, a number of new benchmarks getting established, in terms of what is the cost of production, what kind of blending you use, because we have seen that, the only thing which has to change is our, mindset and the way we work. We should be ready to embrace, because see, steel industry today, the technologies are quite standard, The steel, the blast furnace that you have here, it is the exactly same blast furnace that US Steel will be having in their mills in US. So technologies are known, the global best operating practices are well known. And as we move into the next year, I would expect that we start embracing all the leading practices in the world. If the global practice is 200 PCI, then we have to go to 200 PCI. If people have brought down the cost of coking coal by using less of Gunnela coal, we have to do that. If we have to make our, if blast furnace gas, which is being bled right now, if there is a use which can be found, we have to find a use for that. And we have to totally focus on material efficiency and energy efficiency. This is the thumb rule of running a steel plant. You have to make sure that because it goes through a cycle of heating and cooling. What is steel making? It is a cycle of heating first and then cooling. So you have to make sure that no energy is wasted in this process. You capture all the energy. You plow back some of the energy back into the system. I would now expect that Nido, for instance, it is not working. We have to put it at work. Entire energy which is coming out has to be utilized and channelized back into the system. Similarly, on the materials aspect as well, there has to be, 100% cycling back of all the waste that we have to whatever extent possible. So I'm sure that once this cycle of 7.5 million tons starts, and we start getting the efficiencies, both material efficiencies and energy efficiencies, there is no force in the earth that can stop us from becoming the best steel plant, not just in the country, but at a global level. I have seen from my experience in other companies, I have seen the kind of, attachment which employees have, and I can tell you, nowhere in the world I have such strong attachment which I have seen in RINL. Nowhere in the world. And it is this attachment and this close emotional bond, because RINL is flowing in our blood and veins. And this is the biggest strength of this, this organization. And as it will be my responsibility as your chairman to channelize this passion and this deep attachment that we have for this plant into profits for the organization. Because ultimately, if you are looking at the welfare of all my workers and the stakeholders, it has to come from within the organization. So going forward, we have a plan to increase production. We have a plan to reduce debt. That is also very important. It is not that we increase production and you will come into profits. That will not happen because we have a 24,000 crore debt. So we have a plan to reduce debt by about 4,000, 5,000 crores. We have a plan to monetize the assets. So all this plan, it is a part of the master turnaround plan. And the biggest component of that plan, what is the biggest component of that plan? 100% alignment of my workers, of my employees, of my unions, of SEA, of SC/ST association, OBC association, management, workers, everyone has to be aligned, totally aligned in one direction. That we have to make this turnaround happen. And I'm telling you, that is the biggest force that will make the turnaround. All these strategies are fine, but till you, I, everybody start thinking and believing in this turnaround plan, there will always be, problems to execute it. So on the occasion of the new year, I would request to appeal to all of you. Any doubts, misgivings, anything they have, please come, we will explain to you. But let us follow this path. Let us be together that today we will make it happen. We have seen that this plant, once it achieves 100% capacity utilization, it makes a good profit. You see the period 2002 to 2012, we created 1,300, 1,200, 1,300 crores cash for the company during that period. And during that period, this was known as a company banks used to queue up outside to give loan. And today we have a situation, we are running after the banks. I want the glory days, the glorious period of RINL to come back. And let us make it happen. And I am very confident that we will make it happen. So thank you very much.
Inspiring words. We had an opportunity to hear your valuable thoughts about the overall situation of the company and the various initiatives being taken to bridge the gaps. Come back strongly in 2024. We are coming to the end of this meeting. It is time to propose the vote of thanks. On behalf of CSM Collective, we thank our CMD Sir, Directors, Commandant CISF, Chief General Managers, HODs, Senior Officers, representatives of C, trade unions, SC/ST Association, OBC Association, and VIPs for attending this meeting. Thank you for your time and attention. I take this opportunity to sincerely thank General Administration, Hospitality, Town Administration, Corporate Communications, HR, Telecom, ACVS departments, committee members and staff of Ukku Nagaram Club for rendering their services for conducting this program. We also thank PPM, Marketing, HR, Finance, Projects, MM and other departments who have provided us timely information to enable us to make the presentation. With this, we had come to the end of the program and we request you all to join for refreshment arranged outside the auditorium. Let us continue to work together with dedication and enthusiasm. We once again wishing you all a very happy, healthy and successful New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year.
And another is also there, Ukku. Ukku एक ऐसा चीज है जो हमारा मेजर इवेंट्स लास्ट ईयर 2023 में
आपको गुडगुडी वाला अरेंज गुडगुडी चल रहा है मतलब सब डाल रखा है गुडगुडी सारी
2 years हो गया not able to maintain that. So ये जो Ukku है ना सर, so this is all the major events we have done, we have covered through press release or otherwise also. So we have compiled together. Every year we do it.
is a publication.
Yes, it's a publication. Of course, now we will be for physical only for the release purpose, but it will be actually in the digital form. So, madam, Ukku wanted to लिख दीजिए. Sir.
Madam, a wrapper se తీసేయండి.
This full entire year covers all the including awards and also.
अच्छा इसमें सब all the events हैं.
All the
Actually,
events.
every quarter they used to publish that earlier. Now they have changed it to e-form. Now digital format they have uploading. One copy there.
మేడం చూపించండి బుక్ చూపి
So we will have the field books.
This is another item is this field book. ये बहुत handy हो गया. Last time we have first time released it. In place of diary, when there was a cut from ministry not to print any.
Whatever you printed last year, what you
Very heavy demand.
adjusted.
Yes.
Sir, people have consumed it.
2 times.
Again, they are asking
You are asking
more copy.
You are raised the खत्म हो गया.
So, लिख के खत्म हो गया सर.
And it is a time lesson. इसमें कुछ ये तो लिखा नहीं हुआ.
शिवा.
It
पकड़ चाहिए.
manual में is all are there year wise. We can refer anytime.
Field books.
This is another item is this field book. ये बहुत handy हो गया. Last time we have first time released it. In place of diary, when there was a cut from ministry not to print any.
Whatever you printed last year, what you
Very heavy demand.
adjusted.
Yes.
Sir, people have consumed it.
2 times.
Again, they are asking
You are
for
asking.
more copy.
You are भेज दो खत्म हो गया.
So, लिख के खत्म हो गया सर.
And it is a timeless. इसमें कुछ ये तो लिखा नहीं हुआ.
शिवा.
तो
पकड़. चाहिए.
मैडम मैं पढ़ता हूँ बिना कुछ सर शायद है कुछ सर स्वामी अच्छा
1 second.
नहीं आप उसको भी इंक्लूड कर लीजिए.
ये बहुत अच्छा किया.
And just a simple office calendar.
सबसे यूजफुल तो यही होता है.
जी हाँ. नहीं actually calendars we are officially declaring only for office, conference hall, individual देने से we cannot cater. Hardly quantity we are printing.
फॉलो
Sir.
But calendar we can print or not?
No, we are not supposed to print.
नहीं.
सर मिनिस्ट्री का डायरेक्शन पीछे था कैलेंडर
हाँ नहीं last year से हटा देते. Last year December end में they told you can do it, but that time was not available. Because of financial constraint. Since this is useful actually. मैं तो ना क्या हुआ था last year CMD सर के ऑफिस में ही किसी दूसरे कंपनी का लगा, so we felt it bad. कि why not let us get some printed for ourselves only. तो only HODs and conference room and वो सब नहीं सर.
ठंडी नहीं है
गिर गया.
मैडम आप पढ़ पे ना.
ये अच्छा है कि प्रीवियस
जी.
वन नेक्स्ट वन.
हाँ सर, ये आपके रूम में बैठ के देखा गया कि वहाँ से विजिबल रहेगा कि नहीं कितना, तो इससे थोड़ा साइज बढ़ा दिया गया इसको. सर इस सब काम में एक आदमी का बहुत योगदान रहा. ये एमसीसी रियल वर्किंग हैंड जो वर्क स्टेशन पे काम करते हैं.
यंगस्टर एंड वेरी
सब लोग हम लोग को बताएगा.
All designs and all he makes it.
एवरीथिंग ही डज फॉर ऑल, चाहे वुमेन्स का हो चाहे किसी भी डिपार्टमेंट का. हिंदी सेक्शन की जो मैगजीन्स मिलते हैं ना सर, उसमें इसका कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत है. ये कैलेंडर खाली हमारे लिए कस्टमाइज रहता है कि कौन सा क्लोज हॉलीडे है वो सब देखने के लिए रहता है. लेकिन नेक्स्ट टाइम बट 2 years से भी नॉट से
कहीं क्यों छाप रहे हो?
नहीं अब वो गैर हटा दिए थे.
नहीं फिर भी हमारे लिए छोड़ जाएगा ना
फिर जाएंगे आप लोग के पास
पैसा नहीं है उस चीज में.
चलिए.
तो ये लिमिटेड बजट में जो
आई थिंक ये बहुत अच्छा है. ऑल दीस 3 आइटम्स आर गुड.
और एक्चुअली इसको तो सर हम लोग वो एमपी हॉल में करते थे, मगर चूंकि हम सबको नहीं दे रहे हैं इसलिए वहाँ पे अवॉइड किया इस बार हमने. तो यूनियन बोलते हैं आपको तो दे नहीं रहे, क्यों इसको रिलीज कर रहे हैं. बट लास्ट टाइम वी हर्ड दैट. एंड ये सब भी सिर्फ E7 एंड अबव एंड सब सेक्रेटरी स्टाफ के लिए जानने जी खुद ही लिए हैं. यूजफुल रहता है पिक्चर.
चलिए. चलिए गुड.
Thank you very much sir for giving the time. All expect CC to give some gifties.
Okay.
బాగా స్పెషలిస్ట్లో ఉన్నాడు మోహన్.
కూర్చోండి లాంగ్ వచ్చేయండి.
ఇప్పుడే దగ్గర నేను
అదే చెప్పారు ఎయిర్పోర్ట్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు తెలిసి.
కాబట్టి
వేణు గారు కొంచెం దగ్గర రండి, మీరు కొంచెం వెనక్కి వెళ్ళండి. కట్ చేయండి.
थैंक यू बाबा. सबको हमारे टीम विजिलेंस फैमिली विजिलेंस for each and every member present who are there at home and distant places. I wish all the best for them. Happy prosperous new year with peace health and all the Almighty's blessings rained on each of us. Thank you very much, and thank you for your Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sir. Wish you Happy New Year all. Wish you Happy New Year to Visakhapatnam Steel Plant. Happy New Year to employees unions, everybody. Happy New Year. కొంచెం ఎవరు సార్ ఎంత చాలా ప్రేమతో కేక్ అరేంజ్ చేశారు. అందరికీ కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు. రండి బాబు. రిపోర్ట్లు పంపించారు గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాకి, అండ్ విచ్ వాజ్ వెల్ రిసీవ్డ్ బై ది గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా. मुझे अप्रिसिएशन मिला है, and they were really happy to have such report. నాయక్ గారు కూడా పాపం చాలా రాత్రులు రాశారు. రండి సార్, రండి సార్. షుగర్ లేదు కదా, మూర్తి గారికి ఉందా?
Always smiling friend is there, sir.
हाँ sir. Okay. Wrap up. Right sir. अच्छा विजुअल क्लियर मेरे ना बाबू. अच्छा మీ వల్ల అయితే కమర్షియల్ అయిన ఇదయ్యాడు జీవి గంటసాల పాపం ఈరోజు అందరికంటే ముందే పంపించాడు గ్రీటింగ్స్. రైట్ అయిపోయిందా బాబు? మీరు అయిపోయిందా? బాబు
Smiling friend.
ఈయన ఎక్స్ట్రా డ్యూటీలు కూడా చేసేస్తుంటాడు. చేస్తూ ఉంటారు ఇట్లా. ఈయన భీమా గారు ఎవరన్నారు? భీమా గారు చాలా ఎక్స్ట్రా డ్యూటీలు చేస్తుంటారు. ఇంకేమన్నా రెడ్డి గారు ఉన్నారా? రెడ్డి గారు అసలు ఈయన ఇల్లు కూడా కట్టాడు, పెళ్లి చేశాడు, ఇంకేంటి మరి ఇంకా. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Mandarki.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, I wish you all the best, peaceful, happy, prosperous New Year. Thank you, sir.